questions we love to ask is just like, tell us about a time you overcame adversity. And man, you laid it out there. I mean, talking about, from losing your spot at the shop because of ownership issues to, your relationship, having to move back home for the first time in God knows how long. And the one thing that you were able to establish, early on in your time in Florida, losing that in the transition back, it truly is just like starting from scratch. Uncompromised, 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 we uncompromised, uncompromised, we uncompromised, and I got it. Look, what does it take for you to be great? Keep it 100, bro, you know the answer. Pursuing your purpose, creating profits, building legacy. Anything less, how could you even fathom? Just sit back and imagine all that can truly happen when you pursue your passions. Yeah. So eliminate distractions and get back to the action. That's the law of attraction. You gotta build a team to build a dream. Family, faith, and focus. Counsel can only build a king. Are you prepared to reign? Cause whether you weather the weather won't change. Whether you weather the weather, your weather won't change. Stay true to the vision. Stay true to the mission. Gotta get to the finish. Take a moment to listen and come and see it through our eyes. We'll show you what it means to live uncompromised. We're uncompromised, 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 uncompromised. We're uncompromising. Yeah, uncompromised. We're uncompromised. We're uncompromising. Yeah, uncompromised. Uncompromised. You're uncompromising.
Welcome back to the Uncompromising Entrepreneur Podcast, presented to you by the Uncompromising Entrepreneurship Coaching Group. Do you have an entrepreneurial spirit? Are you constantly thinking about how to create value and build new businesses? Are you trying to find innovative ways of doing business to replace old, outdated ones? And you're looking to reclaim your entrepreneurial birthright? Men, we are talking to you. This is a podcast and a show where we teach you what it takes to pursue purpose, create profits, and build a legacy. I am Jimmy Gonzalez Jr., and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Devon Watts Jr. Yes, sir. And if you are one of our new listeners, welcome to the Uncompromising family. We appreciate you checking us out and listening. If you're a loyal listener, both parties, please feel free to rate and review this podcast. If you're watching on the YouTube channel and you appreciate the visual view and the content, we'd love for you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then share this with another entrepreneur that you know can benefit from this podcast and this content. And we are excited. This is another installment of our MBA Mentored by Adversity series. And our special guest with us today is Henry Rodriguez. What's good?
Yes, sir. How we doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Doing well, man. Doing well. This is exciting. This is an exciting moment, man, because, this has been something that we've been building up to just a bit. It's not often that, our audience gets to hear kind of stories and get introduced to people that are in our lives before they actually get a chance to see them on the podcast. But for those that have been wondering over these mini seasons, the stories I keep talking about when I mention my barber, the man that is responsible for the fades, the parts, the edge ups, the beard trims, the finishing touches that you guys compliment us so much on in our YouTube channel. Trust me, the comments are there. You don't got to go check them. Just trust me, they're there. People asking me, hey, bro, who laced you? But you don't have to question anymore. The man with the golden hands, Henry Rodriguez Jr., my barber, who is also the owner, not just a barber, but actually a grooming professional, grooming consultant, and owner of Bladed Luxury brand. And man, we are so excited, bro, to have you on to talk to you about your journey and your story. How you feeling today, bro?
Sure, man. I'm feeling great. Obviously a little tired, another busy day in the feeling super excited, with the news that I just shared with you guys. Just beforehand, it's I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like a kid again. You feel me? Getting ready to lace up my shoes for that first varsity game. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's freaking out. You're a little nervous. You're excited at the same time. So I'm feeling great, bro.
Dope, man. Well, hopefully we can get into maybe a little bit of that at a high level. Not too much details for our audience just yet. More will be revealed in time, man. But we know that obviously you've been on this journey professionally, personally, and then obviously more closely with us over these past couple of weeks or so as we've been working through our Purpose to Profits programs. And I got to tell you, man, one of the things that we definitely got an opportunity to get a firsthand exposure to is your discipline and your hunger and your drive as an entrepreneur. And as we got a chance to kind of walk with you and work with you, Jimmy and I both kind of chopped it up. We're like, man, we got to bring Henry on to the podcast to talk to our uncompromising entrepreneur audience, like to take somebody who's been a listener just like you that has been studying, applying, asking questions about the content, to then participating in the coaching programs and applying it to what you're already doing today to talk about your journey, your success. Sometimes it makes it a lot more tangible and meaningful for our audience when you can hear from somebody who's walked that walk, or maybe taking similar steps that you are as a listener to building out your entrepreneurial dream. So I can't wait to kind of get into your story. I know that we got, obviously, the series of questions that we normally go through. So for our listeners, if this is your first time tuning in and you just happen to come across the MBA series, our Mentor by Adversity series is where we bring on an entrepreneur and we talk to them about their entrepreneur journey and how they were mentored by adversity. How did they get their MBA? So we'll be obviously talking to Henry this episode, but you can go back, you can listen to the whole suite of entrepreneurs and successful individuals that we've talked through over the past seasons. But really, we just want to hear Henry's journey at the end of the day. And so if you've listened before, this is not going to be anything new in terms of structure, but it's going to definitely be new in terms of nuggets because obviously, Henry's journey is unique. I mean, we can't wait to hear kind of how he got to where he's at from, again, a kid in New York to, owner of Bladed Luxury Grooming Services. I'm super, super, super geek, man. Super geek.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from what I know and conversations that we had, you got a powerful story, man. So I know that our listeners are going to get a lot out of it. So let's just jump right in, man. Tell us. Obviously, we know you're not just a barber; you're a grooming professional. But if you can tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, personally and professionally.
All right, so you guys introduced me pretty well, so I don't gotta go into that more detail. But yeah, basically, I'm a grooming professional. I help people get the most out of their image, and I feel like my niche in the barber game is I don't only focus on how the haircut looks, but I focus on the look, the feel, and the smell. So I hit those 3 points constantly, and I feel like that just separates me from 90% of the other people that I'm in. Because I pay attention to those little intricate details that not a lot of people are willing to go that extra mile. And yeah, personally, I'm 29, single. I love hitting the gym, watching some TV. But I mean, right now, I'm just in that chapter where I'm just so focused on where I'm trying to get that I really limit the fun that I'm having. You know what I'm saying? The only time I don't say no is, obviously when my dad hits me up, say, hey, Henry, you want to go to Universal this weekend? Or, so I never tell him no, But other than that, dude, I'm just so hungry on getting where I want to get that, I just really keep the partying and everything to the bare minimum because, I grew up partying, you feel me? So that I feel like I got a lot of that out of my system very early. So once I got to like my mid-20s, I was able to be like, all right, listen, we need to, step it up, as far as being a man, being a person of character, and really trying to decide like what I want, my life to look like. So.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're currently housed out of South Florida, right? But so are you like a Florida native or original, or you're a transplant? Kind of talk to us a little bit about how did you get to Florida?
So basically, I grew up in upstate New York. I was a regular kid. You feel me? I grew up playing football, basketball, played a little bit of lacrosse, swam. I tried it all. You feel me? Things went sour playing basketball in high school. I quit the team my senior year for a lot of different reasons. But basketball. If you'd asked me when I was 14, I'm going to the NBA. You feel me? So things really didn't work out like that. So I found myself graduating high school, kind of lost, whatever, not really knowing what I wanted to do. I just started working regular jobs, like any other kid, delivering pizzas, working at Taco Bell. I worked at Macy's. And then I hit 21, and I just got that itch. I'm like, bro, I've been here my whole life. Like I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't. Like I need a change. You feel me? I need to go somewhere. So at the time, me and my dad were kind of going back and forth. Me being the oldest. So honestly, bro, I just left everything. I left my car, left the job. I had $900 in my pocket. I hopped on a plane and I just went straight to Miami. My boy was actually staying down here at the time, so I just ended up sleeping on his couch, just trying to make ends meet. And yeah, bro, like I would have never thought I would have been a barber today if you would asked me back then. But honestly, I got a very bad haircut down over there in Miami, because I didn't know anybody, bro. You feel me? Like I didn't know who to ask. I just went to the neighborhood barber shop. I look in the mirror. It did not look like my barber back home. You feel me? I'm like, yo, who is that dude, bro? Like, I know you're not a plastic surgeon. You feel me? Like, whoa. So I paid him his money. Then I'm going back home. I'm, crying to my roommate or whatever. Like, yo, you see this, bro? Like, yo, my man Manny back home for the hot 20, lacing me up. I'm good. You feel me? I gave this man $35 and like, yo, where my hairline at, bro? Like, where's the fade? Like, yo, I was pissed, so, he was like, listen, bro, go get your own clippers, like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So at the time, I didn't have a car, barely any real work experience, so I'm working, I think at the time I was at Champ Sports and I was in Toronto. So, I'm lacing myself up, mind you, I'm screwing it up, jacking it up, it looks clean for the time, or whatever, so, a few months go by, I realize I'm spending 2-3 hours in the mirror, you feel me, just hanging out in the bathroom, chilling, trying to get myself right. And, it's dawned on me. I was like, yo, I'm spending all this time trying to make myself look good. I could probably do this for other people. I could probably go to school and learn a little something. So, I'll fast forward, I'm working like 2-3 restaurant jobs, stressed out. I was, you know what, I need to change. So I went to look at Hollywood Institute in Hollywood, Florida. On a Friday, that Monday I was in Florida. Boom. Yeah, bro, since then, I just really, at the time, I was 24, and I didn't have any barber experience, nothing, so I was behind from the jump, and, I was just so dedicated to trying to become better that I just became obsessed with it, you know what I'm saying? I was to learning, I'd be asking questions, and, you guys know Kobe's my guy, insane work ethic, Mamba mentality. You may be better than me right now, but you're not going to be better than me next week. You're not going to be better than me tomorrow or next year. So that was pretty much like my main motivation. Everyone around was just way better than me. I just hated that.
Oh man. So you laced us with a lot. One, I feel your pain because that's actually how I ended up finding you. Coming down to South Florida, I had my guy up in Central Florida, been cutting my head for years. And Aries, shout out my boy in Aries, lacing me. All right, South Florida because life required me to move. I hadn't had to find a new barber in 8-9 years. Go to the local barber shop and I got that chop job and looked in the mirror like, yo, what is going on? They look like I look like I got the 2-tone haircut. This is supposed to be a fade. Like, what is this? Like, it was horrible. And so I just got on Booksy Came across you, just booked, and the rest has been history. I haven't let anybody else in the South Florida area touch my head since. But what I love about your story there that you're even sharing, and there's a lot of different nuggets we'll touch on. I know Jimmy will break some of them down, but the ones that stick out to me are the fact that you started in this life really just looking to solve a problem, and it was a simple one, right? Like I need a better haircut, right? I don't trust anybody down here, and I need a better haircut. And
But the main motivation too was I was extremely broke. I was like, bro, I cannot afford even that little $30. I'm like, bro, listen, like this is a bunch of food at Publix. This is X, Y, and Z. Like, bro, like nah, if I can cut down my expenses,
I'm good. Got you. So double motivation. I needed a good haircut, and I needed something that was going to be cost effective, and ain't nothing better than free 99 in my time. And so you figured out how to make that happen. But also, what I appreciate about it is before you even made the commitment to pursuing barbering and grooming as a profession, as an entrepreneur, you had the discipline and the rigor of wanting to perfect your craft. Like, you're talking about spending 2-3 hours in the bathroom, cutting yourself up just to make sure that you're laced right, researching, studying, how can I get better? How can I do a better job of how I present myself and how I look, right? Because I want to be able to enjoy one of the few luxuries I have as a man, right? Maybe I don't have the budget to explore all the other things that are luxury, but for this, I can have a luxury feel in my cut. And you figured out what that meant for you and what that looks like, and you had the right discipline. And then that discipline obviously carried over as you decided to pursue it full time and really study and master your craft. And so those two things definitely stick out to me, man. I think are important takeaways for our listeners if they're trying to pick up any golden nuggets from your story so far.
No, I mean, shout out to your roommate for planting the seed and like, hey man, like, why don't you try cutting your own hair? But we've talked about that too. As we ended our series on solopreneur success. But one of the things that we did touch upon, within the last couple of months is practice and really mastering your craft. And you were your first customer, but before you even necessarily got to that point that, I think that I can and I should do this professionally, like you were putting in the time and you were putting in the practice. And when we talk about mentorship, we're talking about being mentored by experience and adversity, but of course you have mentors in your life, whether that's an actual individual that or you read a book, or somebody like Kobe Bryant that you read his books, you watch, you listen to quotes and videos of him talking, and you soak all of those things up. You're like, man, like there's this individual from a work ethic perspective that I want to model myself after. And you can tell from your work ethic, one thing that we all have in common. And we touch upon this every once in a while on the MBA series, or the tattoos, and the fact that you got the Kobe tattoo, you got the Mamba mentality, and the Black Mamba tattoo as well. So knowing that you've put in that work, it is, you put in the work, right, to learn, to practice, and to get really, really good at what you do. I'm curious. So you mentioned that, hey, I did the research. I found a school. I talked to them on Friday. By Monday, I was enrolled. So when you go to school, I know they teach you about business and stuff like that, but at that point, I'm presuming, you're thinking about, I'm going to be a barber. I'm going to go find, somebody a place to go work and really start working this business or this profession. But when did it really start to change for you when you realize, like there's more to this that I want for myself, and really the birth of Bladed Luxury itself?
All right. So let's start. So I go to barber school, right? The instructor at the time is selling me a dream. Hey, I was cutting on Telemundo. I'm gonna teach you how to fade real nice. I'm gonna teach you how to do designs. Like, bro, I'm telling you, my man gave it to me nice. Filet mignon on a golden platinum platter, bro. Like it was awesome. So I'm like, all right, bet. I gotta teach me whatever. So I'm going through barber school. Long story short, this man is not focused on trying to teach the students. He's all over the place on the floor, so in the barber school, right? You got the barber section, then it's shared with the cosmetology students and the nail students. So we'd be cutting hair, and he's over there trying to sauce up the other students, and I'm like, my man, I need to learn how to fade, bro. Like, I'm sweating right now. Can you come here and help me? And he'd come over and just be like, oh yeah, you good, and just walk away. And it was just a really, really, really frustrating situation, at least for the beginning.
So not a good mentor.
Bro, I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool, look legit and everything. Yeah, he got fired, whatever, a few months later. Boom. I get a few months go by, get a better mentor at the same school. My confidence was but I was like, whatever. At this time, barbering was starting to blow up. It was a big fad, you see on Instagram, $100 barbers, you're seeing all these big expos and conventions and, the whole nine. So I think I came in at a time where, it was good to be a dreamer in that avenue, you feel me? Because, barbering was changing on a whole nother level that has never been seen before. So from the beginning, I always had the aspiration as, okay, I want to be that $100 barber. I want to be. So for me, I would look on Instagram, and I was looking at A-Rod. A-Rod was the guy. So it was A-Rod and Moody OC. Them two dudes, I would look at all their videos. I would wear gloves like them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to cut how they cut, fade how they fade, even how they hold the clipper, bro. I'm trying to hold it the same way. You feel me? So that was the beginning of being like, all right, I want to be a superstar like them. So a few years go by, whatever. I learned. So I'm bouncing around. It's been a long day, but
No, it's all good.
So my first barber job, I was at FIU, cutting on commission. You feel me? I knew that I didn't have the skills yet, but I was like, all right, I got my license, so I need to practice as much as I can. So I'm on FIU campus. The cuts were $12. We're getting 55% commission. So you do the math. I'm making $6-7 a haircut. And for me, I was so committed to the dream of getting better that I didn't even try to cut fast to keep up with everybody. I was like, I'm going to still take my time, quote unquote, but I need to hit all these points because I need to practice. I need to get this in repetition to where I can do everything I need to do in real time and still have a look fire. So everyone was doing 30 haircuts, bro, a day. 20 haircuts, 25. I'm at 8, 9. Feel me? But I knew, and for me, I knew that I wasn't going to be there for an extended period of time with everybody. So I would just use that situation for what I needed, and then I would move on. So I started at FIU. 6-7 months go by. I go from being slow, your haircuts are not that on point, to now second semester rolls by. I got all these students asking me for haircuts. They're coming in between classes. Hey, yo, bruh. This girl gave me your number because you, bruh. Yo, thank you, dog. I'm like, all right, bet. You see that work start to literally show itself. So I'm like, all right, boom. I need to make more money now. I already know I got some skills, so I went to a rent shop. So now, at first shop, I'm at a commission shop. It's super busy. They're doing everything for you. Now we go to a rent shop. The structure's a little different. Now you're an independent contractor. The shop doesn't have to market or anything. Pretty much everything's on you. All right, cool. And it was interesting because the owner actually was cutting up a lot of NFL athletes. I got to see a few of the Dolphins, up close and personal. I got to see cornerback by the Lions, chains iced out, getting a super fly haircut. He's paying $120 a haircut, and I got to see this up close. It's not on Instagram, where you look at it and it's school, no, you're seeing it live in the flesh, real time. You're seeing everything that it takes, to be on that level. So, that for me right there, that let me know that everything I wanted was tangible. I can touch it. It's right in front of you. But, you don't have the skill. I knew I didn't have the skills yet, but I literally could look over and, I could soak up all the game that I needed. Because the owner, he's cutting up all these dudes. Then another guy who was there, he was pretty much partners with the owner. He was doing the same thing, but they had different styles. One was super fast, super clean, whatever. The other guy was a little bit slower. His fades were more stretched out, blurry. So I got to soak up a lot of game every single day from them, early. You feel me? So right off the rip, that for me, that was what I needed. When I was playing Madden with Kenny Stills in the barbershop, I was yeah, this is real. This is real, bro. And I didn't expect that. I mean, that just, you look up and I'm like, what's going on right now? You feel me?
Nah, I think it's important, just to mention how, again, the work ethic is there, but the research, and this because this is something that, and hopefully I do want to at least get some of your perspective on your experience in our program From Purpose to Profits. But we talk a lot about that and doing research. In this particular example, though, you were doing your research by following cats on Instagram, peeping out their moves, what equipment they were using, how they're holding the equipment. You now have this tangible, face-to-face experience where you're seeing how they cut, you're listening to the conversations, you're absorbing and witnessing their mannerisms and how they interact with these professional athletes, right, who have the type of money to be able to pay those type of prices. So again, it really is a testament to not only your work ethic, but your willingness to put in the time to listen, to realize, to be humble, to, I don't got it yet, but I know that I will, and I want to get it. And I have to continue to just absorb all of this information and just take it all in. And sometimes I think, ego can get in the way, especially for us as men, and we think that we know it all. But I really, really appreciate, I'm sure our uncompromising family out there appreciates too. Again, just your willingness, man, to say, nah, like, I'm going to take advantage of these opportunities and just learn as much as I possibly can. And also with that mindset of knowing if these cats can do it, I can do it too. It is very tangible, and there's a path for me to get there. I just got to continue to figure it out.
Yeah, man. What I also like about it too is there's this consistent thread in your story, bro, about like how you're committed to living in that vision. Like starting off at FIU, and yeah, like if you look around and it's a commission only shop, like everybody's just running the numbers really quick, right? And they're saying, all right, I got to get it. How can I turn over this share as quickly as possible? And if other people are doing 25, 30 heads, all right, bro, you about to get the quick fade, right? Like, what do you want? You want a zero all over? Say less. Like, no, I don't want a zero all over. No, you're getting a zero all over, right? And instead of approaching it from that mindset of how can you churn and burn, you said, well, look, like, I think at that moment, and you may not even realize that at that moment, the seed was planted around what a luxury experience is. Like, what does it mean for bladed luxury, right? Because for you're saying, look, these college kids that can only afford a $12 cut, and I'm only making, $6, $7 off of it, but how it's changing their lives, like their experiences when they go out to, the classroom and the quad or whatever. And bro, this girl gave me her number because of how you lace me. Right? Like, now you're getting that feedback, and it's almost validation that there's your method, your approach is impactful. And then you take that and you fast forward to now going into a new dynamic where it's not commission only, it's rent. You're an independent contractor. So now you're taking on some of these other responsibilities. It's kind of like transitioning a little bit, because we've been doing a series for this season around solopreneur success. And so it's almost kind of like transitioning from being a solopreneur where you're working in a commission shop, right? Because, we're thinking about like kind of the gig economy and stuff like that. So you don't have a lot of overhead. You don't have to worry about too much. People are coming to you because they know you provide this specific service, to now transitioning to being an entrepreneur where you have to think about, What is my plan? What is my vision? What is my branding? Who's my tribe? How do I market to them? How do I, advertise my services? How do I generate demand? How do I control my costs? Now you had to learn all of that. And you did that while also being able to peep game of other folks that are already established. And like we talk about sports so much, not just because we in the shop, but because of our childhood experiences and stuff like that. And bro, I can't help but just think back to how it's no different than the rookie that's just waiting to get into the game, and you see them, they're holding the clipboard, they got the headphones on, they want to hear what the head coach is saying to the starter because they're biding their time, they're preparing, knowing one day I'm gonna get on the field, right? And you have two different approaches. You got some cats who do that, and then you got some cats who just they sit on the bench. They not really worried about what's going on in the game because they think their number's not going to get called. But you've always prepared like your number was going to get called at any given moment, and that has really helped to solidify, define, and refine what your vision is and kind of what your brand is. And I think kind of really that first experience at FIU is really when the seeds started to get planted about how you see yourself as a luxury barber, and that was only solidified in your next experience when you got to see what it means to be a luxury barber. I don't have to churn and burn my chair. I can work appointments only. I can have a higher level of clientele. I can command $120, $200 a cut because of the experience, right? Because of the experience. And so, yeah, man, I really appreciate just kind of hearing, how you grinded in the beginning to get to where you're currently at and how impactful that has been, whether you realize it or not, on, kind of who you are today in that Bladed Luxury brand that you've established today. It's dope. Super dope.
At the time, I wasn't even going by Bladed Luxury. I think it was like razor sharp pen or something. Like I didn't come up with Bladed Luxury. So I want to say I've been cutting hair for 5 years, so probably about 2 years ago, because like my Instagram got hacked, and I was always like, bro, razor sharp pen, that sounds so corny, bro. Like I need a new name, like this, like you feel me? Like Superman is Superman, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Razor sharp pen, no, that's gotta go. So I started thinking, you feel me? I was like, all right, Bladed. Blade, I'll let you finish with the blade, something with the razors. So I was like, bladed. Then I just like luxury, and I was like, all right, Bladed Luxury. This sounds kind of cool. All right, bet, Bladed Luxury. You feel me? And I knew it was a hit. When I told my dad, I was like, yo, my name's gonna be Bladed Luxury. This is what I'm doing or whatever. He won't give you credit for nothing, but he was like, no, that's catchy, bro. You came up with that?
That's all you?
Bought on Amazon, bro. Like, come on now. Yeah, that was kind of what I knew. All right, we're on to something. So let's go back. So I finished things at the shop in Hollywood. Things go sour, whatever. I wanted to work 7 days a week. Clash with the owner. He didn't want me to work 7 days a week. So I had some personal issues going on as well at the same exact time. Right? So in 1 month, I ended up losing my spot at the barbershop. Me and my wife at the time, she had kicked me out and said, yo, you gotta get out of here. So I actually went back to New York for about 6 months at the time. So that right there, that was a very, very life turning point. I was, it was super. If you want to talk about adversity, that right there is it. Like I really lost everything. I've been putting in work. I didn't have a car. I'm trying to get a car. Like I was just super stressed out. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen. So my dad was like, "Listen, you come up here. I'll give you my old car, whatever, and you gotta figure things out." So I go up to New York. I mail my barber stuff. So I mail it. Right? It's like $1,000, I want to say. Gone. Everything gone, bro. Like my clippers, I had to start from complete scratch. Like everything, bro. They said that they lost it or whatever. Like they couldn't find it. And bro, I was like, so mind you, lost the spot at the barbershop, divorced. Well, not divorced at the time, but she kicks me out, lose all my barber stuff. I'm back home in upstate New York, and you feel me? So I'm 25 years old, going through, like a midlife crisis, lost everything. I had no idea what I was going to do. So I was washing dishes for like a month, right up the street. And bro, when you talk about, for me, that was humiliating. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm washing dishes in the back, and mind you, I just been in Miami, being around all these professional athletes, and then here I'm no clippers, no nothing, washing dishes in the back. It's cold. You feel me? At the time, it was like September, October. And yeah, it was just a really, really down time. So, I was washing dishes. I was food running. At the same time, so I would wash dishes in the morning, go food run at night, got my money back up a little bit. I started buying, I bought my magic clips, started getting everything back. My dad helped me out, bought me the ring light or whatever. So I got the bare minimum, bare necessities. I go to my childhood barber and was like, yo, Mike, can I work here or whatever? And so yeah, come do your thing. So now I'm working alongside my childhood barber, cutting, and from there they seen the skills. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I didn't grow up cutting hair. I haven't seen these people in years. And then when my dad talked to him, let him know what the situation was, help him parlay that. And so I started building up my confidence a little bit here and there. Going back up. Boom. A few months go by. Getting some clients, some guys from restaurants who come to get cuts or whatever. But this is winter in New York. I've just been in Miami for like 4 years at the time. I'm like, bro, I can't do this anymore, bro.
I gotta go back.
Yeah, dude. That winter there was a few big storms. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, I was like, bro, I understand why I left now. So when I was actually working at FIU, I got a DM from famous barbers that, hey, listen, if you ever need a job, hit me up. I never hit him up because I heard stories about this shop, bro. Like, they had, they were super busy. These dudes were real nice. You had to be fast, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it sounded like the boogeyman, bro. I'm scared, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let me go get my skills up and let me see. So this is like my Hail Mary. So I hit him up, and they said, you got to do open chairs or whatever. And, we ended up talking for about an hour and a half, about everything. And he was like, listen, bro, you come down here, you put in the work, you come, you got no clients. You come open to close, you do your thing, you have everything you want. You're chilling. You don't have to worry about money. Because, at the time, I had a little bit of money saved up. Had the car from my dad. But still, he's like, yo, chair rent is $280 a week. $280 a week. Woo! You know what I'm saying? I was like, that number was astronomical to me. So I was like, all right, like whatever choice do I have? So boom, that conversation happens. Next day, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm out of here next week. You feel me? Like, this is my last week. I'm going back to Miami. Thank you. And yeah, bro, the next week I drove. Took, I think it was like a 20-hour drive. Stopped in North Carolina. Slept. Come here. Boom. So, all right. So took the drive. We're back here in sunny South Florida, and I started working at that shop. And bro, the first week. So let me put this in perspective. In upstate New York, I was cutting, but it was a few people a week, not crazy. Just something to get by, keep the skills intact. Over here was that pressure, bro. From 9 in the morning, it was like people are coming in. Had to do the other barber who was running the floor at the time. He's like, "You ready? You ready?" Bro, this kid is dreaded up, tatted. You feel me? And I'm thinking, he's black. Yo, my man's speaking Spanish. I'm like, what is going on, bro? He's speaking Spanish. He got dreads. He's tatted. Everyone's nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing these fades come out quick, sharp, and this was pre-COVID, so we had a waiting area. This waiting area got filled up super quick. Like, you see people standing up, waiting for haircuts. there's 12 barbers in the shop. Like,
Wow.
you know, so it was like kind of going from one extreme to the next, you know, like that. But you know, I had no clients. I worked the whole week. So I had like 15, 1600 in cash after paying rent. I was like, yo, this is where it's at. All right, bet. Yeah, I want to work all the time. So, you know, things ended up working. But, you know, from there, that first week was super stressful, bro. So I knew I had to start working out and things like that. So from there, I started developing kind of like that work ethic. All right, we're gonna work, and then I gotta go work out. I gotta start eating right. I gotta start, you know, drinking water. And that was, you know, before I didn't want to drink water. I was always drinking Gatorades and sodas, and you know, being able to cut from 9 in the morning to 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night and keep that energy up. You know, you gotta be right. You gotta really, you know, be focused on it.
Shape, be in shape, man. Bro, as I'm listening to you kind of share, and you transition perfectly, because one of the questions we love to ask is just like, tell us about a time you overcame adversity. And man, you laid it out there. I mean, talking about, you know, from losing your spot at the shop because of ownership issues to, you know, your relationship, having to move back home for the first time in God knows how long. And the one thing that you were able to establish, early on in your time in Florida, losing that in the transition back, it truly is just like starting from scratch. And I couldn't help but just keep, like, you know, this thought just kept ringing as I'm listening to you talk, man, you know, as an entrepreneur. And hopefully our uncompromising entrepreneurs that are listening out there resonate with this, man. But it's like, how much do you love this? How bad do you want it? Like, would you be willing to build it all back up if you lost it all today? And if the answer to that question is yes, then you're operating within your purpose. You're pursuing your purpose. You're operating within your passion. Like, that's kind of what we talk about, that intersection of kind of your skill set and your passions being your purpose. Like, it's that. If what we're building right now as an entrepreneur, like if something happened catastrophic and you lost it all and you're not willing to put in the work and not waver from that to build it back, then you're not operating in your purpose. And what's clear from your story is you have found your purpose and you weren't letting go of that, even if it meant going back to bussing dishes and delivering food so that you can get the bare essentials so that you can get back into a shop and continue to hone your craft. And then I think I commend you on the resilience, man, and then just the commitment to again that pursuing that purpose of saying I'm gonna go back. Like, I don't know how many folks have had that confidence or that desire to say I'm gonna go back to where I got hurt the most or where I lost it all. I'm gonna go back. You know what I mean? And to see you, man, just make that decision and throw yourself into the fire. Trust yourself, trust your skill set, trust your instincts to figure it out. And then to see where that is taking you today, man, like, to me and everything that you've shared, that's the real message. That's the real lesson. Even for myself, as I think about what Jimmy and I have been building and just looking for affirmation that we are operating in our purpose, being able to ask that question, if we lost it all today, if everything that we've been building from the app to the website to the podcast catalog and all the seasons got deleted, the website got deleted, the app disappeared, would we mourn a little bit, but then pivot to how do we build it back? And the answer to that question is yes, and that just affirms that we're living in our purpose. And so hopefully our listeners out there are asking themselves that question, and hopefully the answer, like it is for us, is a resounding yes for you. And if not, then you definitely got to find out what your purpose is so that you can be willing to build it back up. It's good stuff, bro. Really great stuff.
What I appreciate too is, I mean, I think there was some confidence, but there was a little bit of fear. But you went in, you said that went into the fire. You went into that pressure cooker. Like, you knew, man, like, these cats are legit. Like, this, I have to step up. I have no choice. I'm I'm a little weary, but you know what? I have to do this and I have to get it done. And you prove that to yourself and maybe even to them a little bit as well that, nah, this cat, he does have what it takes, you know, and it's not just the skill, because it's not just that. And I so much appreciate that about you as well. I don't think people really understand that, you know, from a barber's perspective and being a professional like yourself, the amount of time that you're putting in and the physicality that goes into that, right? There's so many calories that are being burned by you working with your hands. You're standing up all day. And not only that, but, you know, from our conversations, what I know about, you know, how we even got to this point and the conversations that you and Devon had, like there's mental energy that goes into, again, the experience, not just the cut, but my personality and how I have conversations with you, right? And how I make this, your time here, a time that you know was well invested because you got the fresh cut, you looking good, you laced up. But I was able to have a conversation with this dude that maybe taught me some things, that learned, or even if it would just keying, but it was still a good experience. Like all of those things go into being a barber and a grooming professional. And you did it, bro. You did it. So again, that's certainly a lot of takeaways for Devon and for myself. What I'm curious about is, you know, and I appreciate you being very transparent and vulnerable and really sharing, you know, kind of those different steps of adversity that you went through within that time period. I'm curious, you know, if any, what lessons did you learn during that time? Maybe you didn't realize it at that moment, but you know now that there were some lessons learned that you hold with you today that allows you to be the entrepreneur that you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, through that whole process, I pretty much learned that you just got to keep it moving. You know what I mean? There's gonna be ups, downs, good days, bad days. You know, some days are gonna feel like you won a Super Bowl. Other days are gonna feel like you're at a funeral of your closest relative. You know what I'm saying? And there's just a lot of ups and downs, and you just gotta try to stay level and stay true to whatever vision that you had. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't really believe in what you're doing, the universe will test you. And if you're not ready and you're not willing to go to the furthest extent for what you want, then it's just not going to materialize. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just so many ups and downs that come with being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? And you really got to stay focused, and you can't let anyone deter what your vision is. You feel me? Because no one else can see what you can see. That's why it's your vision. Yeah, I think that's the biggest lesson out of everything I've learned. You feel me?
No, I love that. I say that all the time, right? That, you know, God gave you that vision. He didn't give it to somebody else. And sometimes that's so difficult because like you're trying to explain, and we're not just talking about like your 30-second elevator pitch, right? Or your bio. It's like this is what I see. And especially if they're not, sometimes it's easy as entrepreneurs when we're talking, right? We have conversations and like, oh yeah, I see it. But if they're not a visionary like that, it's hard to explain. But again, sometimes it's not meant for them to see, right? What they do see is the effort. What they do see is the grind, and hopefully the passion, you know, that an individual like yourself has, that expresses. Maybe I don't see the full picture, but I can certainly see how much it means, because the extent that they're willing to go, the work that they're willing to put in, the research, the time, the learning, the dedication, the amount of calories that they're willing to invest in this. When I see that, again, I might not know the whole vision, but I see the effort, and I believe and I trust in that. I think that's just
Yeah,
powerful.
man. I would agree 1,000%. I think what both of you have been touching on, and the importance of understanding that vision is for you. It also kind of ties back to what you were saying, Henry, about like if if you don't believe in what you're doing, your vision, or even if you do, the universe is going to test you regardless, right? It's going to pull your card and find out like how bad do you really want this, right? And you never know how those circumstances are going to present themselves, what those tests will look like, whether it is you get introduced to an abundance in a short amount of time, or it's a famine, right? And how do you handle that? Right? How do you handle the ebbs and flows? And what I appreciate is you talking about the importance of continuing to go, right? Like just continuing to keep moving, the power and momentum, and not, not resting on those hills, right? When you feel like you won the Super Bowl, but also not resting in those valleys, right? When you feel like you've lost it all, keeping that momentum going is the only way that you can continue to make progress. And so, yeah, I agree, guys. Just, the vision component is just so critically important. And I would say for our listeners out there, I mean, it's called vision for a reason. We talk about you kind of planning and strategy and what you're building. It's called vision for a reason. It's it's foolish to think that somebody would understand the vision of what you're building, or just everybody would understand the vision of what you're building. No different than it's foolish to think you could walk up to a stranger, take their glasses, and think you're going to see exactly what they're seeing when you put them on, right? Like it's the exact same thing. Nobody would have that expectation that I walk up to a stranger, I take your glasses, and I'd be able to see clear just like you do, right? These are formulated for you and what you got going on, and that holds true about your vision for your business, your vision for your life, your vision for your purpose. Some people may be able to get it, some people may be able to see the framework of it, but it's still not going to be 100% clear for most. And the minute you come to peace with that, the more you can focus on pursuing your vision and not worrying about if other people are seeing the picture too. So, man, great stuff, bro.
And
Seriously.
what I will say for our folks out there, uncompromising family, is that, again, depending on your personality and how God has wired you, I think for us too, especially for Devon and myself, like we've done so many activities in the past that helps us to see that vision a little bit more clearly. So what I'm getting at is there's even skill to that. Like, I have this idea, but how do I continue to flesh out that idea? And that's one thing that we're also building upon as well, is a vision workshop for business owners and entrepreneurs. So definitely excited about that, and dropping that to come in the future. But that also, segues to one of the questions I want to ask about your experience so far in this From Purpose to Profits. We've been talking about all season the alpha test, and we were, putting it out there into the world, into the universe, that hey, that we're going to start this. We're looking for 4 or 5 guys to be a part of it. You were one of those gentlemen. Obviously, we're connected. Devon, but you follow us on Instagram. You listen to the podcast, and you elected to be a part of this. So I'm curious, from your perspective, what has that been like for you? And it's still early because we're still working through some things, but I'm also curious, and be honest, just how has it helped over the last few months to even help you flesh out some of the other ideas and growth with the vision that you have for yourself and for Bladed Luxury?
Yeah, bro. So let's rewind even before, right? So mind you, I'm already cutting Devin up for a while, and I pay attention to what you guys are doing, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, bro, I hope he comes and asks me to be a part, bro. Like, I'm trying, like, that'd be cool. You feel me? The New Yorker in me is like, nah, you know what, bro? Let him just wait, bro. Just chill, just let's see what happens. You play, you cool guy in the back of the club, not dancing. So I'm like, so boom, as soon as he comes, he gets that cut, and he's like, yeah, bro, we're doing this alpha test, and me and Jimmy think it'd be a great idea. In my head, I was like, let's go. You feel me? I was like, I bet. So that was a really dope, experience, kind of thinking of something and then actually watching it happen. But actually, once I sat down and started the course, it literally, it just answered every question that I needed, and it helped me. Because my problem is that, like, I didn't have clarity in my vision, past a certain point. You feel me? I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, but there was no real detail being put into it, and then there was no plan behind that. You feel me? So the course really kind of helped me narrow down that focus, make everything tangible, and for me, that light switch went off, bro. Like, I looked at the first few modules, and then like Devin will tell you, bro, I started hitting him up on IG, like, bro, I got all these ideas, bro. I could do this, like, we could sell that, and I want to, do this, that, and the third, and then Devin, being the person that he is, he just hit me back, yo, bro, listen, we could do a box, you know what I'm saying? That you could do this, you could do X, Y, and Z. And, just kind of the creative business juices just started flowing and pouring, you feel me?
Yeah.
And for me, that was kind of what I needed, you feel me? Because I've been, solopreneur all the time. And even when I was working in the barbershops, the people I was working with didn't have the same agenda as me. So I kind of would always stay to myself. So, now, me linking up with you guys and, getting insight into there, that kind of really was like, all right, this is more of my tribe. These are more of my people. Like, this is what I need to be around. And, so what was that in like August, right?
Mm-hmm.
August when we started. In August. And, now, I got a whole business plan. You know what I'm saying? I got, the product ideas that we want to launch, and we're getting ready to do all those things now. And I wouldn't have been able to come up with that plan and materialize it as fast. Like you guys help accelerate that process. You know, is what I'm trying to say. You feel me? Like I would have done it myself, but it would have taken me another 2-3 years. You feel me? I'm comfortable chilling, but and also too, like having you guys run the program and us being a part of it, like there's accountability that comes with that too, you feel me? Because weeks go by, you ask, hey, what's up, how you doing, and personally I want to be able to be like, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to show like this, I have results, I'm putting in work, and you guys know that I'm already in the business doing what I got to do. So there's ups and downs with that, but for me, I want to be able to say, hey, listen, this is what I have, this is what we're working on, this is how we're moving forward. You feel me? I don't want to be one of those guys where, you ask me and I'm like, yeah, like, I'm working. And I really want to, show, prove to you guys that, I'm really, really about this business life. So that was
not.
Yeah, and ultimately prove it to yourself too. You know what I mean? Because it's really not about proving it to us. We're here as a resource, and yeah, we're gonna hold you accountable. We're gonna create the environment that would be conducive to kind of like you said, that creative business energy. Because there's something different, right? When you're getting around other like-minded individuals, and even if they're working in different industries than you are, the fact that y'all are on this grind together, you're building something, you're working with other visionaries, you're working with other builders, you're working with other folks that have that vision of what they want their legacy to be. That energy is just, tangible, it's palpable, and it can put the battery in your back, man. And so, now it's dope to hear from your perspective how everything is played out. Because, Jimmy and I, what we've poured into it, you know what I mean? What we've poured into it has been every fiber of our being, and late hours and long weekends and the whole nine, and figuring out different ways to make sure that we are creating a learning experience that really equips all of you with the tools and essentials you need to truly go from purpose to profits. Like, we called it that for a reason. It's not marketing. It's about manifestation, right? And saying this is what you're going to get out of this journey. You're going to start here with defining what your purpose is. And I don't care if you even know it right now or you think you know it. We're going to make sure you do the work so you can definitively know it. And then once you do that, we're going to take you through the rest of these steps around identifying your tribe, niching down, what is your branding, how are you representing in the marketplace, what is your business strategy, like all of those things, so that it can then translate into profits. And what I think is really dope, right? You know, to kind of reference back to one of the things you talked about, how the universe just plays out, right? And they're going to test you. You know, we started this journey back in August. We're coming towards the end of this journey together through the Purpose of Profits program. And you have made a tremendous amount of progress from where we started to where we're currently at. Like you said, you have a tangible business strategy, business plan. You understand what you're building over these next couple of years, short term and long term. You have ancillary products that supplement the brand so that you can offer something differentiated so that it truly is living up the Bladed Luxury. And then what does the universe do? It presents you with opportunities to potentially accelerate that even more, right? And now folks are approaching you about backing your brand, and helping you get your first venture of having your own shop and what that looks like. And I know we were talking about that just a little bit before the pod has started, but I just think that if nothing else, is just confirmation about how the universe, how God rewards those that put in that work and really focus on what they're tilling in the soil, and how it ends up blossoming the way that it is, man. And so I don't think that's a coincidence at all.
Nah, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in divine intervention, and the word tells us, man, like you reap what you sow, right? But if you're sowing positive things, if your heart's in the right place and you're sowing blessings, bro, you're gonna get those blessings back. So I'm happy for you, but I'm also excited to see these next chapters, right? As we continue to go through the next few months, and we still got a number of podcast episodes left to our uncompromising entrepreneurs out there to round out this season. But I'm super excited as well already. I'm thinking about the future and season 4, and just again continuing to take everybody, all of our listeners and viewers out there on this journey, and continue to tell your story and give updates on how you continue to progress with everything that is right there, kind of laid out for you, man. Just again, very, very happy and humbled. And again, I do feel blessed as well. I know Devon is, just to be a part of it and to be able to see and witness the progress that you've made. But again, what we know is in front of you as well.
No, I appreciate that. A lot, guys. You know what I'm saying? It really means a lot to go from being by yourself all the time, wondering, if anyone believes in what you're doing, to, now, I got the 110% support from you guys, so that just gives me that extra boost of confidence. I'm stepping different now. You know what I'm saying? So, it kind of helps me push forward that much more faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if I had to, for me, to kind of recap, a couple of things, and obviously Devon, you can jump in there as well. The ability to persevere through adversity, which is going to happen. There's going to be ups and downs. You have to be willing to ride the ride as an entrepreneur. The determination to put in the work, one, to practice your skill and to master what you do, but also in that process to do the research and to learn. And even as you were talking about, what you experienced through the From Purpose to Profits, again, yeah, we're giving you ideas, we're coaching, we're talking, but then you went off and you said, man, like I studied Nike and I studied this company, and I really started to understand like how they're doing their branding and different. Again, it also again speaks to your willingness and ability to want to learn, to take those steps and to do the research and to put in the work. And then the discipline to ensure that I'm putting in the work. I know the level that I want to execute at. I know the level of excellence I want to be able to provide. So I also have to take care of myself, mentally, physically. I'm doing the things emotionally to make sure that I'm in a good place to be able to provide, again, this level of excellence that I want to be able to provide, but that I know is going to mean something to the clients and the customers that you're working with. So just so many nuggets, man, throughout this. And again, for me, those were some of the key points that I just wanted to bring up as we look to close out this particular episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you rounded them all out, man. And so I'm just really thankful for you taking the opportunity, man. I know you got a crazy busy schedule because you grind like we do. You grind just like we do. We were just chopping it up in the shop not that long ago. You was like, bruh, it's been 12 hours. I ain't ate yet. Right. And then we still chopped it up for probably like another hour after that, just talking about business and work stuff and the vision and things that you're working on and stuff like that, man. So I appreciate you taking time. And I think that your story is going to be, some of the most compelling content that we have the opportunity to share with our listeners, because they get to hear your, not just your experiences, but also see themselves in it and say, yeah, man, I can relate to all of those things. Those feelings of being lost, those feelings of having to start over, those feelings of, trying to, solve something simple, and how that it plants the seed for maybe something that's even greater. And then how, I'm so committed to that purpose that, even if I lost it all, I'm willing to build it back up again and, reap tenfold of whatever I lost in the first place, man. And so I just appreciate your time, man. I appreciate your story. I appreciate you, connecting with our community, bro, and really excited for what the future has to hold for you, man. And just thank you again, bro. Seriously, it was really good stuff today.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. This is my first podcast, so I was a little bit nervous, and everything went great. You know what I mean? I was just honored that you guys asked me to be a part of it because like I said, I've never been a part of something like that. So I'm like, me here, like to reference back, I'm on the bench and it's like you're like, hey, coach, you in? You coming in, bro? I'm like, all right, bet. So it's
Nah, you deserve it, bro. You deserve it. So having said that, why don't you let our listeners know where they can find you, via social media, so they can actually follow you and get to know a little bit more about you and your journey, and again, follow you through this process as you move forward.
Yep. So my Instagram is Bladed with a period luxury, and
Awesome.
That's it. I'm pretty much just really active on Instagram. I gotta definitely step it up in other areas like that. So it's definitely
We'll work on that.
It works.
All good. Yeah. So, to our uncompromising entrepreneurs, again, thank you for listening. Please show some love. We definitely love for you to comment, like, and share this podcast episode. We'd like to, hear from you. What nuggets really resonated with you the most? What part of Henry's story really stood out to you? We'd love to hear that. If you want to reach out to us, definitely you can do that by going to uncompromisingcoaches.com. And if you'd like to set up some time and talk with us and start that process and really seeing, if this is going to be a win-win for you and what you're trying to do and where you're at right now, we have a quiz that is on the website. So if you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, we have a very short 2 to 3 minute quiz that will really help you. And are you ready to be a business owner? That quiz would be able to help you out and provide you some information as a gift to you for investing your time and answering those questions. So please do that. Again, you could always follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course on YouTube at the Uncompromising Entrepreneur Podcast. And pay definitely close attention. We talked about Henry's discipline and the examples that he provided of that. On the last episode, we gave you reasons why today is the best time to be a solopreneur, but we also gave you a little word of caution. And one of the things we talked about is the fact that you have to be disciplined in your organization and your time management. So be on the lookout for the next episode as we dive back into developing greater self-discipline. It is so important as an entrepreneur when you own your own schedule to have the type of discipline to handle your business, be organized, do the things that you need to do that are really going to set you up for success and provide the same type of excellence to your clients and customers that we know Henry has been doing as well. So until next time, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for riding with us. And as always, God bless y'all and stay encouraged. You have just listened to the Uncompromising Entrepreneur Podcast, hosted by Jimmy Gonzalez and Devon Watts. Thank you, and we hope that you pursue your passion, create profits, and build a legacy. Until next time, y'all.